The SBI PO notification is coming very soon, and that is why I wanted to make this video so that I can give you a very compact strategy by which you can crack this examination within 60 days. Now I know that many people do not feel it can be done in such a short amount of time, and those people do not need to watch this video. This video is not for everybody. This is for only those people who believe that with hard work and with sacrifices, even the toughest goals can be achieved. So if you are one of them, only then you should watch this video till the end. Join my Telegram channel to stay connected with important PDFs, links and other information regarding bank exam preparation. And if you like this video, please click on the like button and share it with your friends so that everybody can get access to this information. And if you are new here, my mission is to empower you with the tools you need to get success in all kinds of competitive examinations. So if you want to join me in this journey, please click on the subscribe button and also do not forget to click the bell icon so that you, my friend, do not miss any future update. Let us begin with this video. Hi, this is Supriyo. Now I don't always do this, but this video is not for everybody, and that is why we must begin with a warning before you start this video. So what's the warning? This is that this video is not for everybody, and I have already mentioned at the beginning of the video who this video is not for. And now you also have to understand that since the notification has not come out yet and it is expected very soon, now we might get a lot more time as well, more than 60 days. But if that happens, then you can easily just expand this plan and you can implement it. So do not be restricted. This is a plan which can be fine-tuned much more easily than other plans. That is why I am giving it to you. And as I told you that if you do not believe in yourself, it is not possible for you to actually follow this plan. So remember that. And also it has to be exclusively followed. What do I mean by the exclusivity clause? I mean that you must be preparing for SBI PO 2020 exclusively, or at least this examination should be the exam that is your dream exam, the exam that you are actually striving for, the exam that your heart most desires. So remember that SBI PO has to be your primary exam for this plan to actually work for you. And you also have to do constant EOW analysis. What is this? It's basically the end of week analysis. So I will be dividing this plan according to different weeks, and your responsibility is that each week, at the end of each week, you have to review what worked and what did not work. So you have to fine tune the plan according to it, and each week, the end of week analysis you have to do. You have to understand how you are progressing by this methodology. And also very important that you must be able to invest a minimum of 70 plus hours per week. So I would recommend that this plan, it would actually require almost 90 hours, and if you can manage it, 100 hours per week. Now that is the top of the scale actually, and very few people will be able to do it, but it is essential that at least 70 hours per week or at least 10 hours per day you are devoting to your dream. Now for working candidates, they cannot devote that much per day, right? But they can actually sacrifice a lot of things on their weekends, and on the weekends they can work for 16 hours, for 17 hours, etc, etc. So I believe that even a working candidate can actually follow this plan if that candidate is motivated enough. Now also very important is that the persistence versus perfection argument that I often have with a lot of people. Now some people feel that you have to strive towards perfection to crack SBI PO. It is not true. You need to only have one thing. You need to be persistent. So I want to stress that the people who are going to follow this plan to perfection are the people who are not perfectionists. They are the people who are the persistent people, the people who never give up. So persistence is much more important than perfection when you are following this plan, this strategy, this 60-day thing that I am talking to you about. Now our goals, what are they going to be for the next 60 days? What are our important goals for cracking SBI PO 2020? Well, first of all, 100% preparation for prelims. That is what we are going to strive for. So by the end of 60 days, we are going to be 100% prepared for the prelims examination. So the plan is structured in such a way that if you are having only 60 days until the prelims examination, then it will be working perfectly for you. And you will also be substantially ahead with your mains preparation by the end of these 60 days. So this is very important that prelims you will be 100% covering, and mains you will will be substantially ahead. So even the mains preparation I have actually included in this plan, because the prelims and mains preparation, they are like a dance. It has to be done delicately and it has to be done almost at the same time, and yet you have to have separate focuses. Each week has to be a little different, and you will also have to analyze each mock test that you are giving. And while we are on the topic of mock tests, I have just the thing that you need. Guidely has launched an express video course with over 1200 mock tests, hundreds of videos, live classes, PDFs, and a secret Telegram group where you can clear all your doubts, and the best faculty in India teaching this course. And at just rupees 1499, you get a lifetime validity. And the best thing, if you get selected in any exam, you get a full refund. Join now and get an additional 10% discount by using the promo code SHUPRIYO. So, okay, now these three are our top goals in the next 60 days that we understood. Now, what are the components of this examination? Now, the components, they are quant, reasoning, English, general awareness, and financial awareness. Now, quant, reasoning, English, I will be talking you through what are the different kinds of topics that you actually need to focus on and you actually need to excel. So I'll just show you that. But regarding the general awareness preparation, so it's quite important that you cover the general awareness holistically. So how can you exactly do that? So make sure that for the dynamic things, what you have to cover: latest government schemes, India's ranks in all of the indexes, then various committees, then notable new appointments like the new heads of financial institutions, etc., the important meetings, seminars, summits, and the themes. So the themes of the meetings are very important. The new schemes, the updates published on RBI website, the GDP growth and percentage forecasts, and also the new SBI products and the other bank products which were recently launched in the market. Just try and see that. And then you have the static ones. So static, these days static questions do not come much in the SBI mains examination, but you never know, they can come. So you have to note down the national parks and wildlife sanctuaries, the countries, the capitals, and the currencies, especially the countries which are recently visited by the Prime Minister or the President, the important dams, corresponding rivers in the cities, the bank headquarters, the headquarters of important financial institutions, festivals celebrated by the states, and the names of important reports published by international organizations. Banking awareness now, so you have to note down the RBI policy rates, the banking ombudsman, the differentiated banks, things like payment bank news, small finance banks, wholesale banks, then the PSL norms you have to know, capital and money markets, NPA classification, the types of ATMs are very important, the acts, the various acts you can see, like NI Act is very important, the Basel III norms are important, then you have the miscellaneous banking acronyms like PSL, IRAC, ABPS, the MSF, PCA, etc. And you also need to see the apex financial bodies like RBI, NABARD, SEBI, etc., etc. And remember that you have to also read these things. So you have to read the economic survey, just the highlights, no need to read the entire document, and the budget numbers as well. The SECC 2011, the socio-economic caste census, it is very important as well, and the census 2011, the important numbers of those things. Let's get back now. Okay, so now you have a good idea regarding the general awareness preparation and the financial awareness or the banking awareness that is in our mains examination. So a lot of it is actually covered in the GA section as well. As I told you that you will be having to prepare for the budget and some snippets of the economic survey. You will also have to prepare for the financial current affairs and all the important things that are being done by public sector banks and even SBI and all the other things. So those dynamic general awareness, that will actually allow you to cover the financial awareness a little bit, a lot actually. And for the static financial awareness, there are some things that you need to cover. For example, you need to cover about the history of the banks, you need to cover about NPAs, how those are resolved, and you also need to cover about various things like checks. So like this, there are lots of different topics. Now regarding financial awareness, a lot of people were asking me, so if you also need these kinds of financial awareness things, let me know in the comments down below. So maybe if I make something like that in video form, it will be easy for you to actually consume that and get on with your preparation. So let me know in the comments if you need anything like that. And the next thing is you need to get good at surprises. Now what do I mean by this? This is because since 2016, so SBI PO 2016, there have been lot of surprises in each installment of the SBI PO paper. So every paper people prepare their best, so they do all the things that are expected of them, but even then when they sit in the examination, examination, some other surprise will come in front of them. So you must be somebody who is very well versed with tackling surprises. Any kind of surprise that is thrown at you, you need to be able to actually overcome it. So that should be your primary goal. Now let us start with understanding how we can structure these various weeks. Now remember, I am not going to take you through a daily timetable in this video because I have already created a daily timetable video, so you can go and check out that video because it will allow you to understand how I think about creating daily timetables and how you can actually create these in a week and comprehensively cover every single thing. So go check that video out, you will understand all about that. Here what I want you to do is you have to actually understand how the preparation is going to actually be structured throughout the different weeks. So in the first week, I am considering that you are starting from 12th July. So 1 week you can just have some plans and you can start from 12th July if you want. So from 12th July to 19th July, you can do one thing. First thing, you have to finalize your sources. So this is very, very important. By this, what I mean is that you have finalized which mock tests you are going to refer to. And remember, I recommend 2 mock tests. Whatever you buy, it is up to you. But remember, without 2 different companies' perspectives, it becomes very hard to actually understand the various surprises that this exam can throw. So have 2 at your disposal, and you also have to finalize where you are going to read your general awareness from and different kinds of things regarding that. So for the general awareness, I have actually made a separate video, so you can go check that out. You will be able to understand how you can do a daily GA practice, because I thoroughly recommend that you go forward with daily general awareness practice, because I have seen that it actually helps you to retain the information better. So go check that out and you will be able to understand what I mean by that. So you have finalized all your sources, you have finalized mock tests, you have finalized your GA sources, you have also finalized which apps you are going to actually refer to. So all the things you must be finalizing in this week. And remember that in this week there are going to be 2 Sundays, right? So what you can do is prelims and mains cold mocks you have to give. Now cold mocks, you might already have seen this. I have talked about it in various other videos. So cold mock means that you are not prepared and right away you go and give a mock test without any kind of preparation. Then you can understand where your natural strengths and weaknesses lie. So at least 1 prelims mock test and at least 1 mains mock test you have to give. I would recommend that give 2 prelims mock tests and give 2 mains mock tests. So 4 mock tests in total you have to give, and once you give these cold mock tests, you will be able to understand where you actually stand, which are the kinds of things where you are lacking, where you are actually strong. So this mock test review that you are going to do, I have a video on the SBI PO mains. So there I have taught you how you can actually just analyze your mock tests. But remember, here also I will just tell you some ideas. So when you are reviewing, there is a 3T methodology that actually I follow. So the first T, it actually stands for type. So by type, I mean that when you are analyzing the mock test for each of the sections, quant, reasoning, English, etc., whatever you are seeing, you have to understand which type this question corresponds to. So you have to understand the various types of questions that can be asked, because remember, there are only a finite number of types of questions. So if you can understand which type it actually pertains to, then you will be able to gauge whether that type of question is easy for you or that type of question is actually hard for you. The next T, it actually stands for time. So time, this means that you will be understanding how much time is it taking for you to solve the various types of questions. You will find that naturally we are strong at certain types of questions. So the time that we take for those questions is lesser and the time for the harder questions becomes a lot more. So you have to understand your average time, what are the different timings that you can follow, and by time you can also understand how much percentage of the paper you are covering with each amount of time that is going by. So in the sectional tests, what happens is that you are locked, right? You are locked to a certain section for a certain amount of time. Now, if you go ahead and give a lot of mock tests, you will be able to understand how long it is taking for you to, for example, solve 5 questions or 10 questions. So time, just understand how much time it is taking for you while you are just analyzing these mock tests. And the third T, it actually stands for tricks. So while you are actually just analyzing these mock tests, remember, even the ones that you have got right, you have to see the answer, how it was arrived at. So there are lots of tricks in different questions, and you can find out those tricks if you see the solutions of each mock test. And even in my channel, you will find a lot of videos that are dealing with these tricks. So these tricks are very important because they can save time. So when you are analyzing the mock test, find out tricks for each questions. Even you can think about it. Think of elegant solutions. Think of how you can solve this question better. So these are the three important T's, the three T's that you can follow, and you can analyze the mock test very, very well. Now, the next thing you have to do for this week is you have to catch up with the past GA. Now, I already told you that you have to fix your GA sources. So what your task will be in this week is that you have to catch up with all the GA that has been done. So for example, if the examination is in September, then from March you have to start off with your preparation, right? So if you have not read those past general awareness, then in this week you have to just collate that. You have to just make it point wise, as I taught you the daily GA, however you are covering, and you have to put that information together. This will be very critical because what happens is that all the general awareness, mostly it is restricted to the last 6 months. So the date of the exam, the last 6 months general awareness are very important. And also you have to note that the last 3 months, most recent 3 months of the examination, from the date of the examination, those are very, very important. So if the examination is in September, then the last 3 months, the nearest 3 months that you have, June, July and August, all these 3 months, there is a high probability of questions coming from these months. So make sure that when you are catching up with the past GA, you start with these months and then you move forward with the other months. So this week you are not going to revise any general awareness. You are just going to write, you are just going to collect all those past general awareness, and you will just create your database so that later on it becomes easier for you to revise that entire thing. So just catch up the past general awareness without any kind of revision. Now the last thing that you have to do is that end of week you have to review and you have to find out what are the things that you got right, what are the things that you got wrong. So the end of the week review, this goes without saying that you have to do it every week. And also just make a note of the first week's essential topics. So the essential topics for the first week, for quant, you have to understand what are the formulas that are needed for your entire preparation. Then you also have to do the ratios. So the ratio and proportion problems, focus a lot on ratios, like ratios, percentages, averages. These are the kinds of things which are very basic, and if you get a good understanding of these topics, then the other examination topics become very, very easy. And then you have to do the simplification and the approximation. So all these things of quant, just ensure that in the first week itself you have covered most of it. Then go for the reasoning. So for reasoning, just make sure that syllogism is 100% correct for you. See, syllogism is a topic in which you can score 100%. So make sure that in the very first week you are understanding how you are going to create those Venn diagrams, what are the rules for the syllogism, and just ensure that each of the problems you are able to solve. Then you have to see the ranking and the direction reasoning problems and the alphabet tests. These are also very rudimentary kind of things, and you can cover the reasoning very, very easily if you understand the concepts of these topics. And for English, you have to do the fill in the blanks and the closer test. So these are the two things for English that you have to cover for the first week. Now let us move to the week number 2 and the week number 3. So I have clubbed these 2 weeks because these 2 weeks are going to go hand in hand. That is why. So in these 2 weeks, the 2 Sundays that you are going to get, you have to totally dedicate them towards your prelims mocks. So this is going to be very important. You are going to focus your preparation for prelims mocks in these 2 Sundays. Now, efficient GA every day, this is something that goes by without any kind of emphasis, that GA you have to study daily. You have to do it every single day, and in the GA focused video I have explained how you can go about it, so I'm not going deep into how you are going to do this. And you also have to do the in-depth financial awareness in this 2 weeks. So make sure that your financial awareness preparation goes very smoothly in these 2 weeks, and clear your 3T problem areas. So as I told you, when you are analyzing the mock tests, the 3 T's I already mentioned. So the problem areas that you are having, just try to iron out those problem areas, and you have to do ample reading and listening as well. Now in my timetable video, I have told you how you are going to implement the reading and the listening part in each day of the week, and so you can just go ahead and follow that so that you have ample time to read the editorials. So try and read a very good kind of things, like don't just be restricted to the Hindu, because these days the Hindu is not the sole source. Go for articles written in the Economist, the New York Times, and many other international journals. So just try and see these kinds of international journals, international articles, because a lot of emphasis is sometimes put on these kinds of things. So make sure that you have ample reading time. And of course we also have in this week essential topics that we must actually ace. So what are these? These are by different subjects. I'll just tell you. So for quant, ratios, fractions, and percentages. As I told you, these are the basic concepts. So ensure that you are well prepared in them. Then you will be doing time and work and distance. So these are also problems which are coming in the miscellaneous problems. So you can go ahead and understand how you can solve them very, very fast. Then you have to get to the simple interest, compound interest, and the profit and loss. This is also a section which is very highly scoring, so you can read that. Then you go for the number series. Now these days in the number series, in the preliminary examination, they will be asking you just easy ones. They can just ask you missing number series or just complete the number series. But in the mains examination, what they are going to do, they are going to give you different kinds of maybe 2 or 3 number series, and you have to actually solve these 3 number series to get 1 mark. So make sure that the number series you are able to solve very fast, because it's highly scoring and you don't want to leave those marks on the table. And the averages as well, these are also something very easy. Mixtures and quantity questions. So mixtures and allegations, those are the kinds of things which are quite simple, basic, and they are highly scoring. So all the prelim section which are very highly scoring subjects, just make sure that in the quant section you are covering all of those very comprehensively. And then you have the reasoning section. So verbal and logical reasoning and alphanumerical series, these are the kinds of things which you have to focus on for reasoning. And data sufficiency as well. So data sufficiency, nowadays a lot of questions come from data sufficiency, so make sure that you do not leave any of these questions. Coded inequalities are also there. So coded inequalities, very easy. You can just write down the code, you can decode it, and you can just get to the answer very easily. So the reasoning section becomes lot simple if you have just mastered these kinds of things in the early days. And then you have to do the blood relations as well, and I have also taught you how you can easily simplify the blood relations. So make sure that the blood relations you are covering, coding, decoding as well. So these are the very easy types of questions that you can see in the prelims exam, and I want you to ensure that you get all these marks very easily. Now you come for the English section. So reading comprehension, now this is the most important thing in English and reading comprehensions. As I told you that if you have a lot of reading practice, it becomes quite simple for you. Then you have to do the synonyms and antonyms, then the spotting errors, the parajumbles as well. So parajumbles, it will take a little bit of time. You have to understand the syntax, you have to understand the starting and ending of sentences so that you can actually solve these questions. Then you go for the closer test. So these are the topics that you need to cover in the week 2 and week 3, so that you have got a comprehensive coverage of the prelims section. So remember that this 2 weeks you are going to focus totally on the prelim section. Now we go to week 4 and 5, which is from 3rd August to 16th August. Now in these 2 weeks, your entire focus needs to be directed towards mains preparation. So remember that these 2 weeks you are going to use the 2 Sundays that you have for mains mocks exclusively. So give a lot of mains mocks so that you get a lot of understanding into the main section, how it actually works and what are the various intricacies involved. Now efficient GA every day, general awareness goes without saying that you have to keep doing it, and you have to keep reviewing the financial awareness as well. So these are the kinds of things that you cannot let up, and each and every day, as I told you, you have to keep following that so that you can get comprehensive general awareness marks when the actual examination takes place. And now these 2 weeks you have to focus on the hard mocks and also the complex concepts. So very important that you understand, see that each and every question that you are going to see in the mains paper, you have already done those things in the prelims paper. The concepts remain the same, but what they do, they will actually make compound questions questions, they will add a lot of layers to any question. So that is one way in which they can increase the difficulty. Another way they can increase the difficulty is by making it more calculative. So a lot of calculations you have to do, and I have covered in this channel how you can easily calculate these things. So I hope that that will help you to actually just solve the mains paper much easily. And it's quite important that you also master one very important thing. You have to practice choosing. Now this is one of the very important things in the mains paper. So you have to choose the right question. So remember that each question that you are focusing on in the main section, now it will take up a lot of your attention, and it will actually just take up a lot of resource of your brain by just solving that question. So you have to understand that you do not get stuck in any question, because there will be a lot of difficult questions. If you pick a difficult question and get stuck on it for 5 minutes, then effectively you have ruined your paper. So what I want you to do, you have to practice choosing. How do you practice it? Very easy. Just sometimes when you are practicing, just have 10 questions, maybe 10 problems in front of you, and before you answer those 10 problems, just read them for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and then just write at the side of them which one you want to attempt and which one you want to skip. So if you do that and then you go ahead and solve those problems, you will be able to understand which are the kinds of things that you got right and which are the kinds of things you could not predict. So prediction is very important. You have to develop this magical ability by which you can predict the difficulty of every question. I can guarantee you that if you are becoming an expert in just detecting the difficulty level of each and every question, then it will become so easy for you to actually attempt the mains paper. Choose very well your questions in mains and the essential topics which we need to ace in these 2 weeks. So let's take a look. The essential topics now for quant, exclusively you have to do DIs. So this goes without saying that data interpretation, this is the cornerstone of the mains quantitative aptitude. And if by the way you need some hard level data interpretation, then let me know in the comments below. I will try and arrange something for you, because I heard from a lot of people that you are not able to get the high quality data interpretation practice. So I'll definitely ensure that you get that kind of practice. And also the permutation, combination and probability, these questions are sometimes clubbed with the DI, and it makes the DI very difficult. So try and have very ironclad concepts in these things. Mensuration and the compound problems, these are also, as I told you, that compounds problems are very important, and make sure that you do not miss out on mensuration, because the circles, triangles, the cylinders, etc., all the various formulas, these are questions that might seem difficult, but once you apply the formula it becomes very easy. So that is why you have to focus on these things for the quantitative aptitude section. And coming to the reasoning section, there will be a lot of long-winded verbal reasoning, logical reasoning and critical reasoning. These are the 3 things very important that you must cover for your mains reasoning practice. And remember, a lot of reading practice is required, because there will be long questions given to you and you have to find out the assumptions, you have to find out the conclusions, etc. So critical reasoning, verbal reasoning and logical reasoning, they play a very vital part, and the questions are very long-winded. So make sure that you practice those long-winded questions. Now you come to the complex puzzles and the complex seating arrangements. So the complex puzzles and complex seating arrangements, I was thinking of making some videos on these kinds of things. So I hope that I get some time and I'll cover these kinds of things so that you have a framework by which you can work. So remember that reasoning section, these things are very important, that if you can solve maybe even 1 or 2 puzzles, you are going to be much ahead of the pack. So make sure again that you choose the right question so that your time is not wasted in the mains examination. And in English, you have to do the complex reading comprehensions, so the long-winded, the difficult and the dense reading comprehensions, and then you have to do the word associations, the paragraph completions and the multiple meaning questions. So these are the subjective type of questions that we see in the English section. So make sure that you are well versed with these kinds of things. So that is all with your week 4 and week 5. Now coming to the week 6 and week 7, 17th August to 30th August. So you have to start off with your mains preparation at the beginning of this time frame, and slowly by the start of week number 7, you have to transition to only the prelims practice. So try and have a good balance. So week 6, at least week 6 and the first part of week 7, just try with the mains preparation, and then you will move totally into the prelims. And you have to iron out all the 3T conceptual gaps that you have. So any kind of conceptual gaps, some things that you are not able to understand, now is the time that you focus your energy into understanding, because after these 2 weeks you are not going to be able to just learn new stuff. So anyway, even in the 6th and 7th week, you are going to read less of new stuff, and you are going to revise all the concepts that you already knew. And now the lots of GA and FA revision, the final 2 weeks for these things. So remember that 6th and 7th week you are going to revise a lot of general awareness and financial awareness, because after this what happens, the next week we are not going to touch these things, and after our prelims examination is over, then we can go ahead into our mains preparation, and then we will be restarting these things. Now understand the question solving priority. Now what will happen, that after you have given a lot of various mock tests, you will be able to understand which questions you should start with. So you will not be able to always get those questions, but you have a priority list in your mind that okay, if I am starting for reasoning, say, then I will be doing coded inequalities first, then I will be doing blood relations, then I will be doing the coding, decoding, etc, etc. So by doing all those mock tests, you will be able to understand what is your solving priority, what is your questions priority, and once you have that, you can apply it and you can get the priority of yourself, what you can use in the mains examination. So remember that this question solving priority, it's very important to determine your personal question solving priority. And GA MCQs, lots and lots of general awareness MCQs, I recommend that you solve in these 2 weeks. So let us move finally to the final week. So week number 8, 31st August to 6th September. So by this week we are very much sure on when the prelims date is and when the prelims examination is going to happen. So the final week we are going to 100% focus on our prelims preparation. So no mains, you have to forget entirely about mains, only the prelims, and you have to review all the mock test data. This is a lot of valuable data that you have collected over the course of your preparation. Just look through it, just see what are the scores that you got, what are the types of questions that you were missing, and you have to understand that prelims is all about how many questions you can easily just solve. So it's a lot about speed. Of course accuracy plays a vital part, but you have to be very, very fast in attempting these questions. Question choosing does not matter as much as it does in mains, and no main centric stuff. So entire thing about mains you have to forget. You have to only focus on the prelim section in this final week and focus on hitting your timing. So as I told you that when you are solving the mock tests, you will be having some timings that by 5 minutes I am solving these questions, by 15 minutes I have solved these questions. So once you hit your stride, you will be able to understand what are the timings that you need to aim for. So this will only come after you have solved a lot of mock tests. So remember that you have to understand these timings that you have set in your mind, and you have to hit your timings so that in the final preliminary examination, when it actually happens in this examination center, then you can hit your timings very, very well. And also you have to simulate the exact environment and also the exact time. Now by this time you will be, I hope, knowing the exact date of the preliminary examination, exact time as well. So I suggest that, for example, if your examination is on a Sunday and it is, say, for example, from 10 a.m. it is going to be held, then make sure that every Sunday at 10 a.m. you are actually sitting for a mock. So those are the kinds of simulation activities that you are going to do. Now in my SBI PO preparation series, I have talked a lot about this simulation, so you can go check it out if you want. So you have to simulate your environment, simulate your time exactly well. Now coming to the final piece of advice that I can give you. So I think that out of all the people who are watching this video, very, very few people will be watching till this point in the video. And if you are one of them, I want you to understand that this examination, it is not about perfection, it is about persistence. There will be a lot of times when you are not going to be able to follow this plan. This is critical to understand. The plan that I am telling you, that plan is not going to be followed perfectly by you, and that is fine. You do not need to follow it perfectly. You do not need to always follow it. Just understand that when you are failing, when you are falling down, you have to get up. You have to always get up. You cannot stay down. You are going to get knocked down. You are going to get punched. You are going to get hit. but it is your responsibility to always rise, to always walk, to always strive towards your goals. Remember, you do not need to be the smartest person in the room to crack SBI PO. You just need to be good enough. You just need to know your flaws and you need to know your strengths so that you can play according to your strengths. And above all else, when you close your eyes, you should be able to visualize yourself as an officer in the State Bank of India, and only then you are going to be an individual who is going to achieve his or her dream. I hope that you learned something from this video and that it was beneficial to you. If you like this video, please give it a like and share it with your friends. And if you want to see more such kind of content in the future, please subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon so that you, my friend, do not miss any future update. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.